Welcome back to Carolina This Week. Joining me now is Joe Dugan. He is the chairman of the board of the Myrtle Beach Tea Party. And thank you for joining us, Mr. Dugan.
Well, thank you for having me, Tim.
I've been wanting to have somebody from the Tea Party on for a while because I believe there are a lot of misconceptions about the Tea Party and a lot of things that a lot of people, myself included, just don't understand about the Tea Party movement. I guess my first question for you is, how did you become involved with the Tea Party to the point where you're the chairman of the board of the Myrtle Beach Tea Party?
Well, I became involved because I would sit home and watch the news on TV each night, and I found that it was building up such stress levels in me that I had to go out and do something about it. I've got a 16-month-old grandchild, and I want her to have the opportunity to live in a country that's free and has a free enterprise system and the opportunity that I had when I was her age.
Was there a tipping point?
I think when Congress started approving bills behind closed doors, I had had enough. The politicians in Washington have a club, and in this club they trade earmarks and favors to get their pet legislation done, and they all seem to have their own agendas, and there's no group of them that are looking out for the whole country. And the bills that are being proposed and passed these days, they don't have the approval of the American people. If you look at any of the polls that are conducted on the current legislation, the American people want to go back to our roots in the Constitution. That has served us well for 134 years. And I'd like to see it serve us well for another 134 years.
Part of what I know about the Tea Party is it doesn't align itself necessarily with Democrats or Republicans, but is conservative, would be definitely to the right. Is that the way it is? Do you see the Tea Party as being kind of nonpartisan, but trying to drive some sort of change?
The Tea Party is nonpartisan. We're not Republican. We're not Democrat. We are conservative, and we believe in the Constitution and the free market system, and we are opposed to socialism. That experiment was tried in Europe, and it has failed. And the people in Europe have jumped aboard a ship, and they're rowing towards America's ideals of free enterprise. And ironically, our society here in America is jumping in a boat, rowing towards Europe to a failed socialistic system.
Do you see the Tea Party becoming a third party?
I don't see that at this point. The Tea Party is, as I said, a nonpartisan group of everyday Americans. And as such, they are independently minded, and we don't agree on everything. And there's an autonomy to the individual Tea Party groups throughout the state and throughout the country. And what we want to do is we want to have a government that is founded on the Constitution, and we don't think that by forming a third party we could accomplish that goal.
Not just last month, we had a primary election.
Mm-hmm.
Was the Tea Party happy with the results of that election?
The Tea Party was very happy with the results of that election.
I guess I should say the Myrtle Beach Tea Party, since maybe there's another Tea Party out there that wasn't.
Right. The Myrtle Beach Tea Party was very happy with the results of that election. The fact that a woman who happens to be from a minority group could win a primary against such established candidates And also in that, for the U.S. Congress, Congressional District Number 1, the fact that another minority could win over 11 other candidates is remarkable. And it speaks to the credit of the Tea Party that we went out and worked for those candidates.
Is the Tea Party more, in your opinion, than just a divisive group to throw a wrench into the current system?
Oh, I don't think the Tea Party is divisive at all. The Tea Party is a unifying force. What is divisive is what's going on in our society today, where we're setting up a system of class warfare in what's going on in Congress and what is going on in the bills that they write. What we've got is small businessmen pitted against those who don't happen to be employed or are not paying, haven't reached the level of income that they have to pay income tax.
I want to take a quick break. When we come back, I want you to describe to me the perfect Tea Party politician or candidate.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Carolina This Week. Joe Dugan, the chairman of the board of the Myrtle Beach Tea Party, is our guest this morning. Joe, what would embody the perfect Tea Party candidate?
There never will be a perfect Tea Party candidate because there are imperfections in all of us. But one of the qualifications of a perfect, in quotes, Tea Party candidate would be that he would subscribe to the contract from America. There are 10 points in that contract, and what they do is represent a return to constitutional values. They oppose things like cap and trade, illegal immigration. We believe very strongly in the Myrtle Beach Tea Party in legal immigration. We're all immigrants, but we feel that there's been a system established for legal immigration, and if somebody comes into the country illegally, they've jumped in front to the head of the line of people that have been waiting all these years to do it legally. Some other items in the contract are balancing the federal budget. I don't know if you're aware of the debt clock, but we currently have a national debt of over $13.2 trillion. That works out to almost $120,000 for every taxpayer in this country. And that does not include the liabilities that we have for future Medicare and Social Security that we've committed to our elderly. We also want to restore fiscal responsibility, and we want to have a transparency in government. Having bills enacted that are 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 pages long behind closed doors, not only do the legislators and politicians not read the bills, they haven't written them. We don't know who wrote them, and we don't know all of the unintended consequences that they are going to cause.
Something that a lot of local leaders in our area have been pushing for is an interstate to connect Myrtle Beach to I-95
right
on through I-73. If that could come in the way, some of the money for that could come in the way of earmarks, which are something that I know Tea Party candidates and Tea Parties in general are not in favor of. Is there any room for negotiation? I mean, sometimes people will argue we need these things, and we need to do things in these kind of closed-door negotiating kind of ways.
Well, I can't buy into that argument. I can buy into the fact that we do need I-73, and we do need the dredging of Charleston Harbor. But I attended a debate between Paul Thurman and Tim Scott just before the runoff, and I heard Mr. Thurman say that he was not in general in favor of earmarks, but he was in favor of earmarks for I-73 and dredging Charleston Harbor. When it was Mr. Scott's turn to speak, he said that he was not in favor of any kind of earmarks, and that those worthy projects, I-73 and dredging Charleston Harbor, should be brought up as a bill in the House of Representatives and passed on their own merits.
But I think a lot of times if you took all the, different interests of different regions and put them in as their own bills, would you bog Congress down then in too many smaller bills rather than attaching earmarks to some of the bigger bills?
I would rather have the bill smaller. I have listened to some politicians who have advocated that for every page of legislation, we should have to wait a day to vote on it. So if they want to write a 2,000-page bill, they can wait for a number of years to be able to vote on it.
Gotcha. I want to let people know that if they want to get more information about the Myrtle Beach Tea Party, you guys do have a website.
Yes, we do.
And let's put that website up on the screen. That is www.mbteaparty.net. You can find out just about anything you want to know about the Myrtle Beach Tea Party there, from videos of your meetings to documents that show who you guys are and who else you're affiliated with in the Tea Party Network.
And you can comment on our wall on Facebook at that same site. We are actively looking for the citizenry, particularly of Carolina Forest and Myrtle Beach, to join our movement, and we would gladly accept any donations that you could donate right directly on our website through PayPal and or write us a check.
Gotcha. Mr.
Thank
Dugan,
you so much.
Thank you for being with us this morning. I hope to have you back here again someday.
I hope to be back.
Thanks for joining us for Carolina This Week. We'll see you next week.